Happy Thoughtful Thursday, everyone. Barb back again. And today, I can't believe it's Thursday already. And today is Thoughtful Thursday. And as you know, I am a yoga teacher and I'm an unSTUCK coach. And hi, Audrey. And so every time I come on, I'm teaching you a mental, emotional well-being tool. And it kind of surrounds the unSTUCK method. So STUCK is stop, tell, uncover, consider, and kindness. Because if we are stuck feeling a certain way, I hate to say this, but it's our own fault. It's our own fault because we're stuck in a thought that produces an emotion that makes us feel like blank. So if you recall, we did on Monday was a tell portion of it, was the tell. The tell in the unSTUCK method is really important because this is the step where we realize where we are stuck. And it's not easy to identify because the mind really believes it. So the mind thinks it's true. And you've probably heard a saying before that just because you have a thought, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And there's a lot of truth to that because it's our thought that keeps us stuck feeling a certain way. So on Monday, we did an activity. It was called Identify Your Thoughts and Emotions. And there was a prompt that said, what is bothering you? Like, what is triggering you? And I gave the example of my job is stressful. My job is stressful with no end in sight. And that produced frustration, or maybe depression, or maybe helplessness, or maybe I was critical of myself, or maybe I feel miserable, right? So when I have that thought and it produces those emotions, I'm not feeling very good. And chances are it's going to land in my physical body and make me not feel good there either. And how do I want to feel? I want to feel confident. I want to feel calm. I want to feel motivated. So today's Thoughtful Thursday is about the C step, the fourth step, the consideration. If we find a spot that we're stuck in, our mind will never go to another thought until we can prove that it's not true and that we can give it something else to think about. So Shira Gura is the creator of the unSTUCK method, and it is an amazing self-help tool. I have helped more people by getting them unstuck than I have being a licensed nutritionist, a professional, a registered fitness professional. It doesn't matter, even through yoga. Yoga helps so much, but getting unstuck is life-changing. So she produced these consideration cards because when we are stuck in the moment, it is really, really hard to consider another perspective. As a matter of fact, the mind will say, forget it. So today, for anybody who would like me to, I'm going to pull you a card. And so if you're watching, say, read me, and I will pull a card as those come in so I know which card is going for you, okay? So I pull a card once a week, and in every yoga class, I read them, and that's what the consideration is for the week. And if I forget to do that, I'm always reminded. So I'm just kind of jotting down names because for some reason, if I can't see your sign, your notes, I'll know that you're here and you'd like me to pull a card. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm shuffling them right now. So if you did the exercise on Monday, and if you came up with what is bothering you, so say we use my job is stressful and there's no end in sight. I'm going to pull a card for that particular feeling to see if the card is applicable in any way. So I'm pulling this card. Consider being in their shoes. So when I think of this, how can I apply this consideration to my job is stressful with no end in sight? So I have to think about this a little bit. If I'm miserable and frustrated and kind of feel helpless because I'm in this job, how am I showing up in this job? How am I showing up for my coworkers? Are they excited about working with me? So maybe I could put myself in, I could be in their shoes witnessing my behavior. And that does that make me feel, like uh-oh, my energy is impacting them. So that's, one way to consider my job is so stressful with no end in sight. Maybe I can consider being in the shoes of the people who are around me. And do I want to uplift them, or do I want to kind of pull them into my misery? So it's just a consideration. Consideration cards aren't easy for the mind. They will resist, okay? So considerations are important because they stretch the mind's capacity to consider something else, right? We have to stretch the muscle of the mind. So if we investigate our thoughts, and if we start to consider something else, we start to see a shift. Okay, so I can see people's names popping in, but I can't see if you're waving your hand. So Julie, I think, or Audrey, you were the first to pop on. So I'm going to pull a card for you, all right? So I hope you want me to pull a card for you. So I'm shuffling and I'm pulling a card, and your card says, consider not taking it personally. I love this consideration card. I think everybody can use it. So consider not taking it personally. Think about where you might be stuck and see if this helps. Also, you want to try to apply your card to your life all week long until we come back next Thursday and pull another card. All right, Julie, you're next. I'm going to pull a card for you. Julie, yours is consider calm. Consider calm. If you think about us building our mantras for the holiday season yesterday, we want to be calm, right? So how can we create a little calmness in our thoughts, in our life, in every situation? So that's your consideration card for the week. Marie Elena, I hope I'm saying that right. This card is for you. Are you ready? Consider giving the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if you could read that. Consider giving the benefit of the doubt. So when we are stuck in a story, it's really hard to give somebody else the benefit of the doubt. Can we do that? Can we bring that into our mind and into our practice a little bit? So think about that and where you can apply it. So I'm jotting down names as people come on so that I can pull a card for you. Martha, hi Martha, I hope you're feeling better. Martha, this card is for you. Consider their perspective. When we are stuck in story, we only believe our perspective. So that can be really hard. So consider their perspective. Jennifer, this card is for you. Are you ready? All right. So Jennifer, your card is this too shall pass. And I have to chuckle about this because I was sharing this in yoga class this morning. My mother-in-law used to always say this to me because our first son, Michael, was really colicky. He was just a really unhappy baby. And so an unhappy baby made for an unhappy mama, right? And she would always say to me, this too shall pass. And I found it so annoying. I was so annoying because I was like, I'm just miserable, right? I'm just miserable. I'm stuck feeling this because he's screaming all the time. And now it's one of my favorites, maybe because I have a little bit more wisdom, but life is filled with contractions and expansion. When we inhale, we expand, right? And we have such joy in our life. Well, guess what? This too shall pass. We're going to come into a contraction and we're not going to feel as good, but guess what? This too shall pass. So whether you are in contraction or expansion, know that this too shall pass. Have gratitude wherever you are and remind yourself to take a deep breath, take a stop meditation, repeat your mantra, and whether you're in contraction or expansion, this too shall pass. All right, so I don't see anybody else popping up right now. So if you're watching this later, you can leave in the comments, pick a card for me and I will, and I'll write down, I'll respond to you. or you can use one of the cards that I selected for everybody who was able to join me live. So your choice. You can watch this later and comment. Oh, Denise Myers yesterday wanted me to pull a card, and I told her she was early, but now that I remember, Denise, this is for you. Your card is, it's not your job to change anyone. As soon as our kids, oh, Tiffany, yes, I'll definitely pull one for you. When our kids are 18, it's not our job to change them. Oh man, that's a tough one, because we always think we know best and we have our best intentions. That's what comes to mind for me. Consider it's not your job to change anyone. The only person who can change anybody is we can change ourselves. So wherever that might apply, Denise, it is not your job to change anyone. Tiffany, how could I forget you? You were even on my list. I'm sorry. Here we go. You ready? Tiffany, consider compassion. So look back at what was triggering you earlier in the week. Can you apply compassion anywhere along those lines? Or this is your card for the week. So wherever you can insert a little bit more compassion, either for yourself, always begin with yourself. If we have self-compassion for ourselves, we are so much more likely to be able to share it with others. So your consideration card is consider compassion. So leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and leave a heart, leave a comment, and apply it, right? These are all tools to help build our emotional intelligence, our awareness, and our ability to lighten what's bothering us, because we have that opportunity. By the way, in the unSTUCK method, every stuck spot comes from a thought. Every unstuck spot comes to our ability to accept a new consideration and feel the shift in the energy as we practice it. It is life-changing. Practice your skills. Don't be overwhelmed. Do it your best. I've given you a lot of information in 4 days, and we're doing this like every week. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed. If all you're doing right now is listening and absorbing and evaluating, that's awesome. If you're taking stops, that's amazing. If you are following a consideration card and you're going to apply it in your life, that's one thing we weren't doing 4 days ago, right? So yay! So I hope that was helpful. It's a fun activity, but more important than that, it is a tool that we want to start to use on a regular basis. Tomorrow is Fantastic Friday. We are going to start doing things for ourselves to improve our mood, increase the positive feedback loop in our mind. And tomorrow I'm sharing my personal meditation space with you. And I'm going to talk to you about my space and my ritual. And I'm going to invite you to create a space of your own. So I'll see you tomorrow. I hope. Have a great day. Namaste.